Hello and welcome to the Alaska College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event tonight. This panel is Finding a College Fit and Match. We're really happy to have you here, and I know you're going to learn a lot of great information to help you through your college search or to help a student in your life as they are navigating this process with you. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping announcements for you. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. However, you can use the Q&A button to leave questions to our presenters at any time. The Q&A button's on your screen, so you can just open that up, type your question in there, and our panelists will be happy to answer that. And you might even find the answers already part of the presentation too. This is just one of many different sessions that have been happening for Alaska students. We hope that you are excited and already signed up for the panels that are to come later today. If not, it's not too late. You can head to the same website where you registered for this panel to see the schedule and still register. That's strivescan.com/Alaska. Also note this presentation is being recorded, as were all of the college fair presentations yesterday and the remaining panels today. So you can head to that same website, strivescan.com/Alaska, in the coming days to watch and learn about more schools or catch more of these awesome panel topics. All right, well, I am happy to turn it over to our panel tonight. We are going to first start with Jennifer Ness, and she will then introduce herself and the rest of the panel and take it away.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being here. We wanted to just first off start out with introductions, just briefly introduce ourselves. And you'll hear more about our schools that we represent, but we'd like for you to, be able to name the people who are actually speaking to you. So I'm Jennifer, and I represent Eastern Washington University. I've worked here for about 8 years now, and I am the representative for Alaska. So I do travel there pretty often, and I'm excited for you to be here. Just looking on my screen, Jacqueline, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, good evening to you. This is Jacqueline Ross coming to you from beautiful Davis, California, which is over by Sacramento. And I'm really happy to be with you all, but also looking forward to the days when we can come see you in person. And I'll hand it off to Tricia.
Hi everyone, my name is Tricia Stout, and I'm an admissions counselor and the campus visit coordinator at Eastern Oregon University, located in La Grande, Oregon. And I am currently the admissions counselor who works with Alaska students. However, I will be transitioning out of this role November 30th, but I'm still happy to be that person that you connect with as I transition to a new role at Eastern Oregon University in academic advising. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. And just to go over the rest of the agenda for tonight. So the first thing that we'll discuss is we actually want to hear a little bit from you about some of the things that you're considering when you're looking at a possible college. And then after that, we'll kind of go more into a deep dive of the different factors that most people consider and that you should be considering when you're looking for a university. And then we're going to give you some real life examples of kind of how to translate what you've learned into actual colleges and sort of what to look for when you're searching. And then finally, we'll hopefully send you home with a tangible tool to actually use during your college search. And so without further ado, you are welcome to add these to the, actually, I'm not sure you can put anything in the chat, but just maybe if you aren't able to put anything in the chat, go ahead and start thinking about what are some things that you think are important for when you're searching for college.
And you can use the Q&A too to let us know if there are any particular things that you're looking for.
Perfect. Thank you, Jennifer. If you'd like to add something to the Q&A, just some different things that you're looking at, different factors that you look at when you're looking at a college. What's important to you? And no worries if you don't want to put anything, because we're going to give you lots to chew on here in a second. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and move on and start getting into the meat of this, and I'll hand it over to, I think, Trisha.
Yeah, so some of the things that you should consider in your college going process are definitely the financial cost and value of an institution, of all of your institutions. So factoring that in, what kind of scholarships they're awarding to you, what the overall cost is going to be to you for an academic year, but then maybe also factoring in all 4 years, especially if some of those scholarships are only 1 or 2 years. And then also with the scholarships, the deadlines, that's also something to consider. And filing your FAFSA as well. And one recommendation that I heard from our financial aid office scholarships coordinator here at Eastern Oregon University was apply for scholarships at all of your institutions as if it's your top choice. So then when you are making that decision come March or April or May of your senior year, or maybe sooner, you can really lay out all of your package options, all of your financial aid package options with your scholarship options as well, what you've been awarded, to make a more informed financial decision for yourself. So really factoring in that value and figuring out what that cost of attendance is going to be for you, and recognizing that schools do put in a lot of variable costs as well into that final cost of attendance that they share out. So what's really that tangible cost for you, and the gap as well. So when we say the gap, that means the cost of attendance, let's say, is $25,000, but you're only getting scholarships and aid up to $20,000. So you have a $5,000 gap to cover. So how are you going to cover that? Other things to consider is the location of the schools that you're checking out. Are you more interested in an urban institution, a rural institution, somewhere in between those two? How far away from home? And what kind of environment do you want to surround yourself in? Are there a lot of access to the outdoors locally? Is it public transportation friendly? What kind of community do you want to put yourself in? And that kind of leads into the vibe. So the vibe of campus. As the campus visit coordinator, this is a really big thing that I talk about a lot at Eastern Oregon University, because we want to make sure that when you visit campus that you can really get a good sense of our campus and our community, and making sure that you can put yourself in the shoes of our students. And so looking for that at all of your institutions. I'll pass it over to Jacqueline.
Thank you, Trisha. Yeah, so when you're looking at campus culture and community, you might look at it. I think the natural thing is to compare it to what you're experiencing now in high school, or if you happen to be at community college, that's kind of where we all go to. And so something to think about too is like, how will it be different? What do I have to look forward to? Now, I have to confess that when I got to college, and I had the privilege of coming to Davis in particular, I just felt this tremendous relief. And I realized at some point that was because it's okay to be a smart person at college. And that's not always okay at home, depending on where we come from. But, you know, to sit and have conversations and talk about academic stuff and to see people doing that is amazing. And that's a lot of what happens at college campuses, just that freedom to discuss things, to really get into topics deeply, the freedom to let yourself try new things out there. So something that I look for are the kind of classes that they have, right? If you have a chance to have introductory classes or overview classes for your majors or fields you're interested in, that's so wonderful. Some colleges have beginning seminars. So those are what we call kind of low unit classes, like just an hour or two a week, where you can go and get a sense of what's happening in there. Campus size is really important to a lot of people. I came from a town of 100 people and I had to go up to the next town to go to school. So for me, campus classes were about 20 to 30 students in high school. And then it came to university, and some classes are quite a bit bigger than that, right? So that was a style for me to get used to. So, when you ask yourself, I think, do you want to be in a smaller classroom setting where you really do need to be on and prepared and ready for discussion? Do you like the performance style of teachers in larger classrooms? So think about what works for you and ask those good questions when you're talking to college reps. Also pay attention to what learning styles are available or responsive to, in the way that the classes are taught. Some teachers are performers, they're hams, they like big classes, they really enjoy that aspect of it. Other teachers encourage a lot of argument and debate and connection, interaction in the classrooms between students. We have some classes where the way that we get everybody doing teamwork is to enter competitions against other colleges and universities, which can be really cool. And you soon learn that there's science in the lab, science out of doors. So see what kind of facilities are offered and ask about things like field trips and conferences and some of these other aspects of college that you might get interested in. Athletics are a big part of a lot of campuses, things that people enjoy doing either as athletes or going and support the students out there. So check those things out. A lot of campuses have the really serious NCAA teams, but also have intramurals where you can compete against students who were great athletes in high school, and they love that teamwork and staying in shape. And then also extracurricular activities, like what kind of clubs are out there? Where do people go for fun? How many activities are self-initiated by the campus? What's around in the area? And then no small matter, pay attention to safety, ask about safety. Any campus that is serious about it will be able to provide you statistics and also tell you about their safety programs and how to be smart and love your college years while also taking care of yourself and your friends. And then finally, academics. No two colleges in the US are alike that I've ever seen. And just between the three of us, I imagine we cover a lot of territory in the academic world. And there's some really exciting majors and minors out there. You probably know that a major is your main thing that you're saying you want to specialize in, right? And the minor's kind of the side dish. So I always think of the major as the burger and the minor as the fries, but whatever way you want to think about that is cool. And the minors are usually a sub-interest that might support your main interest or just be something that you're giving to yourself, as a gift of exploration, which is fine. So campuses often offer a lot of things in both areas. Explore those, check out those internships, those things that are going to make your resume look amazing, along with your good grades and your relationships to teachers when you come out, and ask about professional development and career services at your campus, because a lot of campuses have amazing things to talk about, kind of different than what you're learning in the classroom. We have a workshop on how social media influences your job opportunities or dampens them. We have time management. We have a club on campus that sponsors a business dinner, so students can learn, what's considered stylish and appropriate out there, and do all kinds of cool stuff for students. So there's a lot of peer support and a lot of amazing support on campus, and ask all those good things when you come and talk to reps. Thanks, Trisha. Back to you. Oh, yeah. Okay, back to me. So let me show you a little bit about UC Davis. UC Davis is the northernmost of the University of California family. We are research institutions. We are land grant institutions. And we run from Davis up in the Sacramento area all the way down to San Diego with 9 undergraduate campuses. Davis itself, beautiful campus, very pastoral. We've got mountains off to the west of us and 3 major rivers in our particular area, which makes for some really good kayaking and fishing and whitewater rafting. We are just 75 miles away from the San Francisco Bay Area and just 20 minutes away from one of the most dynamic state capitals in the US. And we do have this sweet college town that hosts us and really embraces our students. So I love being in Davis because it is so supportive of education and very supportive of young people. We are an academic powerhouse over here. We're number 4 in the United States as far as public universities are concerned, considered first in the nation for agriculture, which for us is everything from what's going on under the soil to the products that end up on the grocery shelves, right? So we do tend to be food oriented over here. We like to feed people. We like to eat well. We grow amazing food in this region. Our students And our faculty tend to be a bit on the risk-taking side. They make some productive mistakes. They make some glorious discoveries. All that is part of a really invigorating and dynamic kind of campus life. So rather than, teaching to the test or teaching straight to the credentials, you're going to get the chance to spread your wings. Part of our great joy on campus is seeing where you end up, because we know you have hidden talents when you come to us. We know you have skills that haven't been tried yet. So part of our job is to help unearth those things for you and give you the opportunity to try them out. We have over 100 majors. You can switch back and forth between majors with some ease, with good counseling and advising. So if you find the grass is greener in a different major, you can switch majors when you get here. We have 6 professional schools. We're a socially relaxed area. We are the bicycle capital of the United States, and our students actually run the bus system for our campus and our city. Davis has 25 NCAA D1 teams. We have a 20-to-1 student to teacher ratio, outstanding professional development for our students. And we've got 4 seasons, but all of them have sun. So we'd love to see you come down here and visit us. Thank you so much.
So another example of a different type of university is Eastern Oregon University. So we are a small public university in La Grande, Oregon, which is about 4 hours east of Portland. And we have about 1,500 students on our campus. So we are one of the smallest public universities in the state of Oregon. We are a rural setting. We're actually Oregon's rural university. But that also means that we just serve our rural communities and remote communities that surround us as well. And we have a lot of great student resources for our students to be academically successful, as well as just successful in life. So in our rural setting, we are like the hub of Northeast Oregon with the outdoors. There's hiking and mountain biking 10 minutes away from campus. There's paddleboarding, fishing, skiing and snowboarding, rock climbing, all within, skiing and snowboarding, you might have to go about an hour away, but everything else that I just mentioned is under an hour from campus. So the closest hiking and biking trails are 5 minutes away from campus. And you can see in that photo down there that big mountain, well, it's big to us. I know Alaska mountains are much larger and grander and beautiful. I miss seeing them, but that mountain there is Mount Emily, and there's a recreation area up there. So hiking, mountain biking, ATVs, really close by. And so you can also see that we we're a tree campus USA, but also a tree town USA. So there's a lot of variety. It's not just high desert and sagebrush and juniper trees and all of that. So our average class size is about 25 students. I'm also a graduate of Eastern. My largest class at Eastern was about 80 students, and my smallest class was 3, including myself. And that's still pretty common to have smaller class sizes. Faculty teach all of our classes here at Eastern, so you're always being taught by someone who's really knowledgeable and passionate. And there's just a really great sense of community here on our campus. But then the community at large of La Grande also supports Eastern Oregon University in all aspects of who we are as an institution. So our Walk for Warmth to support community folks who can't pay their full utility bills in the wintertime when it gets a little chilly here, all the way to supporting our arts and theaters and music, all the way in our athletics. There's 4 colleges at Eastern and 2 partnership programs that offer 24 majors currently, but we just added this last academic year Sustainable Rural Systems. This year we added Special Education Initial Teacher Licensure program, and next year we'll be adding Agriculture Entrepreneurship. And also this year we added marketing. So we had a marketing concentration under our Business Administration degree program, but now we broke that out into its own degree program. So a lot of other great degree programs available, but I just wanted to highlight those since they're brand new. We are a WUI school, and WUI is automatically awarded. WUI is Western Undergraduate Exchange. So it's automatically awarded upon acceptance to Eastern. There's no separate application process for it, and it's good for all majors. We have NAI athletics here at Eastern, 15 collegiate teams, and many of them are nationally ranked. Our women's volleyball team is number 12 in the nation right now, and they start their NAI championship round 1 this Saturday here in La Grande. And our cross country and track and field coach, Ben Welch, actually grew up in Wasilla. So he's been our coach for I think 30 years. So he's won a lot of national awards as well. There's intramurals and club sports here, and over 50 active clubs and organizations. We have suite style residence halls for all first year students. So we do require you to live on campus, and it is suite style, meaning each suite has its own bathroom. So not that stereotypical dormitory lifestyle where you might have to go to the bathroom down the hall. And there's also career services here that offer internship opportunities, jobs on and off campus for our students, but also our graduates can utilize these services as well, which is really cool, I think. So those are just some of the things, at Eastern. I'll stop talking now and let Jennifer go.
Okay, not to confuse you any further, but so we also go by Eastern, but we're Eastern Washington University. But as you can see, there's definitely a lot of variety when it comes to choosing a college or university. And I think in terms of location, Eastern might be kind of somewhere in the middle between the rural environment of Eastern Oregon and the kind of more urban environment of Davis. But let me just walk through a few things for you. So we talked earlier about sort of the financial costs and how value and that sort of stuff is really important. So for Eastern, we offer the WUI scholarship for students from Alaska. And the great thing about that is it is a automatic scholarship that's awarded when you are admitted. And it is GPA based, but it's up to $15,000. So it's a pretty good scholarship and brings your tuition down to almost in-state cost. In terms of in-state tuition, we are the best value of state universities in Washington state. So just to give you some perspective of what that would look like for like an in-state student looking for a university. We're considered medium size. So we actually have about 12,000 students, just over 12,000 students here on campus. So like I said before, we're kind of in the middle. We're rural, as you can kind of maybe see in the picture here. That's actually farmlands in the background there, but we're actually kind of urban too, because the campus itself is located in Cheney, Washington, which is a small community, but we're just down the road from Spokane, which is the second largest city of Washington state. So it's kind of a mix of both in a way. Something too, we talked about sort of location and is it close to things that you love? Well, the outdoor lifestyle is a really big thing here. So, you know, if you like hiking, biking, you know, swimming, skiing, snowboarding, all of that, it's pretty much at your doorstep here at Eastern. And we have a really incredible outdoor adventure program called EPIC, where you can actually rent equipment for a very, very low cost to you as a student. So that's something that's up your alley. It would be a good choice. And then, I don't know, it's important for me, it's probably not important for everybody, but coffee is a big part of the culture here. Just in town, we've got, I can think of 4. There's probably more than that, 4 or 5 coffee shops, but in Spokane, you're gonna have your choice for kind of like local coffee roasters, as well as the big chain names as well. In terms of class size, that was something else that we mentioned in the things to consider. And I think we've all touched on our class size here today, but we have a 25 student or 25 class average. And then in terms of the student to faculty ratio, it's 22 to 1. And just to put it into perspective, the student to squirrel ratio is 6 to 1. So that kind of gives you some perspective. And then in terms of like community, a big part of it is our sports. And so we have 14 NCAA Division I sports. And so it's a huge part of our campus culture. In addition to the D1 sports, we have pretty extensive club sports as well as intramural sports programs as well. And speaking of clubs, we have a lot of different options for you as a student. So depending on your interests, we've got clubs that are related to your major. We've got a fraternity and sorority system as well. And the list goes on. We have a rocketry club and a NASA club. I can think of many others, but anything you're interested in, you're probably going to find a way to meet like-minded individuals and meet friends. In addition to that, the area is just a really safe and welcoming community. Very walkable. Everything on campus is probably within like 7 to 10 minutes of each other. But the community of Cheney itself is also very walkable. Like you can be into the downtown area within 10 minutes. So program wise, we talked about academics, and obviously academics is going to be a really big factor when you're looking at a college. But we have over 100 programs to choose from. You can kind of see our top majors there tend to be sort of career track majors. So majors that are kind of designed to get you up and going with a job straight after graduation. But we also have some really unique programs like our forensic science major. And the unique thing about that is it's actually located, the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab is located right across the street from our campus. So there's a lot of internship opportunities for our forensic science students, and a lot of opportunities to get your hands dirty and work on real forensics for real crimes. And this is really the case for a lot of our health related majors, where, for example, we're one of the only bachelor's programs in the state that allows bachelor's level students to work on real human cadavers. So just another example. I did talk a little bit about internships, but because we're so close to the city of Spokane, there's a lot of internship opportunities for our students pretty much in any major. And the Career Center does help with that in finding internships and sort of curating your resume and your cover letter. And so lots of things to consider. And I think that's all I want to share. Oh, the tangible tools. So you've learned a lot about different factors that you could be looking at, when it comes to choosing a college or university. And I think that the whole point is really just to have something like that you can actually take home and use. And so this is just something very simple that can hopefully help you in your college search. It's just a rubric that you can use. So what we would recommend that you do really is when you're searching for a college, you actually write this stuff down and keep track of it as you're learning more about the college, as you're researching the college, as you're talking to, counselors, as you're even visiting the campuses, just keeping track of all of this stuff and you can start rating each university on those different factors that we talked about. So if you look at the rubric here, you can kind of see like, XYZ University, maybe they didn't have very good scholarships or they're really expensive and you're not sure that you'll be able to afford it. So you're going to rate them really low on the financial side. But you love the location, it's exactly what you're looking for. But kind of like the vibe, the community, and the academics are all sort of like middle of the road. And then if you pop down to like ABC University, they're kind of the opposite. They rated really well in financial. They have a great scholarship program. They're very affordable. But the location is kind of not what you're looking for. The vibe in the community are okay, but they have awesome academics. They have the exact major that you're searching for. And then finally, 123 University, it just seems great all across the board. And so I would highly recommend that you start actually writing this stuff down. And hopefully that tool will help. And I wanted to ask my colleagues what other sort of pointers for students looking for their college or university, what other pointers would you say? What would be some big ones?
Well, for me and my personal college going journey, which is kind of funny now that I have worked as an admissions counselor and campus visit coordinator for the last, well, I've been in admissions for almost 12 years. So, but yeah, the opportunity to actually visit campuses, or if you can't visit, doing virtual tours or just trying to schedule one-on-one admissions counselor or admissions advisor appointments, or connecting, if you don't want to do that, just connecting with the students there. Maybe they have student panels, or if you know someone that's going there, just to kind of get a sense of if you belong there, and if that's like a good fit for you. So I chose Eastern Oregon University in April of my senior year is when I decided to apply. So I don't recommend that, applying late, but I had done early applications to what I thought were my top 3 universities at the beginning of my senior year. And then life happened and I decided that I wanted to give Eastern Oregon University a try, because I was a track and field athlete in high school. And so there was an opportunity for me to connect with Ben Welch, our track and field coach here, and maybe throw here. And so I gave it an opportunity. And I visited campus, and once I stepped foot on campus, I knew that this is where I was going to go. And I didn't have that sense with the other schools that I had visited. So visiting schools can help you narrow down which schools you want to apply to, but also help you decide in that decision factor of, yep, I can really see myself here for 4 or 5 or 6 years, however long it's going to take you to finish your degree. So sorry, that was long-winded.
I think that's really, really good advice. And that kind of brings up 2 points. Like, one hand, you're looking at tangible tools, right, for the outer journey, but it's also important to look critically, I think, at yourself. And I probably didn't do enough of that as I was going off to college. Like, I thought because I had a good, strong GPA that I was a good student. And when I got to college, I found out that I brought some bad habits with me. And they were the same habits that some of my peers had in high school, like, procrastinating, turning in the first draft of a paper in high school and being able to get an A on it. Did not happen for me in college, right? And some other things like that, like not listening to people who said, oh, you know what, you really should budget at least a couple of hours of study time for every hour in class. And I was like, well, I'm bright and I'm quick and I can handle it. They were right. Like, you need to budget time differently, because colleges, a lot of us do placement tests and things for you because we want to get you in your next place of challenge. We don't want to reiterate what you already know from high school, right? We want you to get your money's worth. We want you to get excited. But that also means that you're coming up to learning brand new stuff. And it's going to take a lot of discipline and excitement and enthusiasm. And you're going to feel a lot better about yourself if you're really organized. So we actually kind of advocate for kind of making a prenup with yourself before you start your first term there, and say, hey, I am going to work out a schedule. I'm going to make sure that I dedicate myself to X amount of study for every hour in class. Something I found really helpful to ask about is if there were study groups or partnership groups on campus. And that became a lifeline for me because I was not so great about studying in the evening. And so I actually found engineers to go study with because they were just hardcore. And so I could study with them once or twice a week when I was feeling lazy around the edges. And I would say another good thing is to really, when you're going to all these colleges, everybody has deadlines. A lot of college deadlines are kind of immovable objects. So it's a really good idea to learn how to calendar. And a lot of high school students don't calendar. So whether that's in your phone or hard copy or something, and then at some point you realize I am the only one really responsible for me. My mom can't talk me out of missing a deadline. My counselor can't talk a college into accepting my application, 2 days late or whatever. Like, you are stepping into adulthood. So, and it's hard sometimes for your parents to let go because you're their babies. and they want to watch out for you and nurture you. But when you hit college, you really are there for yourself. So you get to step up into your own advocacy. Something I would like to add to the tangible tools thing, though, too, is look at the partnerships that your colleges, your prospects have built, because I think all three of us have mentioned the strength of our career development programs and our professional development for students. And that's important. When you have a college that's kind of sitting in a community but doesn't interact at all, and there's bad feelings between the host city and the campus, you're not going to have the same opportunities as you will in areas where campuses and the local towns or vicinities are, they're hand in hand, and the college is responsive to local needs, and those partnerships are out there for you. And that makes for great internships and great job opportunities. So if that means just kind of walking around in town when you go visit and listening to what people say, asking shopkeepers, asking apartment folks, what it's like, how they feel about the student in the campus, that's going to tell you a lot too about your potential welcome there. And a lot of times it will be really positive and you have some good things to look at. But I hadn't thought about that at all when I was a young person in high school. And I think I just got lucky that I picked a campus that is really tremendous in that regard. So that's something else to think about, local partnerships and opportunities in that outer community. Yeah. Jennifer? Yeah.
Definitely. So my final piece would be, actually, if you go to the next slide, it kind of fits in with the final slide here. So I would actually suggest get a contact at the school, and that's what we are. If a lot of students, I find, they think they don't have anybody to help them through the process, and it can be a very confusing process. And we are here to make it easier for you. And so don't hesitate to seek out your admissions counselor at the universities that you're considering. Contact us, text us, call us, email us, make appointments with us. We are here for you to make it easier for you, because we know it's very stressful and we know it's pretty overwhelming sometimes. And so that would honestly be my main piece of advice. So screenshot this if you're interested in any of our institutions. And if anyone has any final words, go for it. If not, I think Q&A, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the Q&A section.
Yeah, one thing I'll pop in with while we're waiting for some questions to come in is to realize that, like, on the outside, it looks like, especially when you go to in-person college fairs and things, it looks like colleges are really like head to head against each other, that we're super competitive. But honestly, behind the scenes, when a student comes up to us and talks about college and what they want, if a student comes up to me and for some reason I don't have what they want, but I know that Jennifer or Trisha does, because we've talked with each other and we like each other, I'm gonna go and talk to them and say, hey, you know what? The students after this, do you have it, or who do you know that has it? And there's a lot of work referring to each other and trying to get you in the best place for you. Because at the end of the day, your fit, your happiness with the college is of the utmost importance, right? It doesn't do any good for us to have unhappy students. And we want you to go out there and, be happy in the world, be successful. So we do a lot of networking behind the scenes on behalf of students, which is to say that now, the three of us, if you think any of us can help you in your area, find a college, narrow down your choices, answer some questions, maybe even have a contact, let us know. Don't be shy about that. That's our world. We like helping you. We're into it. It's a quiet group, ladies.
That is all right. Yeah, if there is no questions, you have our contact information there, and I think that probably concludes the session.
All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer, Trisha, and Jacqueline, for sharing such great information. I hope that everyone who's watching, whether it's live or watching the recording, feels like they have some extra tips to help them navigate the college search, both from like what to think about, fit and feel. And I love that chart. That was amazing. So thank you all so much for sharing your knowledge today. All right, well, we have reached the end of our time together. So I have just a few logistics and announcements to share with everybody. So we're glad that you joined us, whether it was live or watching the recording, and taking time out of your day to learn more in your college search. When you close your window, there's going to be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. Promise it's really short and easy, but we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide us. We encourage you to check back to the schedule and sign up, excuse me, for more panel sessions that are following today. You can do that at the website you can see on the screen, strivescan.com/Alaska. And also remember, you'll be able to find this session's recording, all of the College Fair recordings from the first day of programming for Alaska students, and all of the other panel sessions as well in the coming days. They're going to be posted again at that same website, strivescan.com/Alaska. So thank you again to our panelists. Thank you everyone for attending. We wish you all the best in your college search. It can be an overwhelming process, yes, but it is a lot of fun and so exciting to figure out the next steps for you or for your student and your family in that educational journey. So thanks again, everyone, and hope you have a wonderful day. Best wishes.